A very good evening. I'm Sandhya, working as a cybersecurity researcher at Accenture, India. So today's session is going to be on data privacy protection, which is the most hot topic of today. So it is one of the biggest challenges that is faced by the IoT device manufacturers and the consumers. So some of the takeaways from this session is going to be what is the future of the IoT devices, the growth of IoT devices, the need for privacy and data protection, what are some of the major data privacy breaches that has happened recently, the various challenges that are faced by the IoT ecosystem, what are the privacy measures that we as consumers of smart devices could adopt to stay safe. So IoT, which is growing at a tremendous pace today, spreading its wings to almost every domain. So the Internet of Things is a computing concept where your day-to-day physical devices are connected to the Internet, and they're also able to identify themselves to other devices. So experts predict that by 2025, there are going to be as many as 75 billion IoT devices all around the world. So the global IoT market has forecasted to be worth of $1.7 trillion by 2020. So we are expected to have 100% LPWAN coverage by 2022, and also the IoT banking and the financial services market are the major sectors where we can see the growth of IoT, who are also investing about $2 billion by 2023. So as IoT devices are more and more connected, data sharing happens at a humongous scale. So because of this, because of this booming scope of the IoT industry, we have the IoT manufacturers rushing their products into the market, without any built-in security. Now, as this happens, there are a lot of products out there in the market which are vulnerable, and also huge amount of data that could possibly be exploited. So this is one of the reasons to consider privacy as a biggest challenge in this IoT era. So yes, how safe is your data? This is a big question to ask ourselves. Now, smart devices are sharing your personal user data to the third parties. This was a major headline that has dominated the media from past 2 years now. Say with the stories of smartphones or your smart streaming devices sharing your data to the third parties. So there was an IoT privacy study that was conducted recently by a group of researchers who utilized about 81 smart IoT devices that was used commonly at people's home. So they conducted over 35,000 experiments as to see what kind of data is being collected from these devices, why are they collecting it, how are they sharing these devices, and how it is stored. Now the results were very astonishing. Out of the 81 devices, 72 devices were collecting some of the personal user information, which included the IP addresses, the device specifications and configurations, the user geolocation, the user habits, and many more. There was another study conducted by another group of researchers. Yes. So there was another study conducted by another group of researchers who involved only smart TVs and smart streaming devices. And again, the results were very alarming. 89% of the TV channels that you view collects the user preferences and the user habits. Now, the researchers were able to, conclude all these facts with the help of an open source tool called as an IoT inspector. Now, this was created at Princeton. So IoT Inspector is a platform for automated IoT firmware analysis. So it scans your IoT device firmware for vulnerabilities without the need of the source code or any physical access to your IoT device. You just have to upload your firmware on the tool, start the scan, and within minutes you have the vulnerabilities out there. The next, I would like to talk about some of the important data breaches that has happened recently. So 2 billion records exposed in a massive smart home device breach. Now, a team of security researchers who have a very impressive record of showcasing the vulnerabilities of an online database have shown this as have shown this as one of the biggest databases that is exposed on the internet. So the database which was showcased by them was one of a Chinese company. I would not like to name it. One of a Chinese company which exposed the database of the users of smart devices on the internet without any password or any kind of an encryption. Now the database contained over 2 billion logs of smart device users from various countries, which includes China, Japan, US, UK, and many more. So what kind of data does this did this database have? Is they contained usernames, user passwords, the password reset codes. It also had the smart camera recorded conversations, the email addresses, the geolocation, and much more sensitive information. So one of the worst part added to this privacy breach was that the password and the password reset codes that was logged weren't encrypted or protected by any kind of a password. So they instead they were hashed with the help of an MD5 algorithm without any salting. So it was open to any kind of a brute force attack. Now, one of the dangerous information that was found on this database were the password reset codes. Now, this password reset codes were used by the smart device users to reset their passwords or the usernames. Now, with this information that was readily accessible to the hackers, they could easily, lock the account of the actual user without even needing the password, requiring the password of the user. So this was one of the biggest data breaches, that privacy breaches that has happened till date. So yeah, a team of hackers take the remote control of the Tesla Model S from 12 miles away. Now this is also one of the major breaches that happened. So a team of Chinese researchers, they were able to hack the car remotely. They targeted the car's CAN bus. Uh, so, so by hijacking the car's CAN bus, they were able to move the seats of the car back and forth, trigger the indicators, open the mirrors, the boot, and many more things while the car was moving and also while the car was parked. The worst part of this attack was that they could also hijack the car's braking system, say, which when deployed while the car was at a very high speed on a motorway could really be dangerous to the driver. Say, well, if you're thinking, how is this a privacy issue? Say, your car's infotainment system is connected to your smartphone. So when this is done, much of the information on your smartphone is vulnerable. For example, say you're using GPS. Uh, So, with the help of your geolocation data, the hacker could predict what is your source, your destination location. They can also predict your home location. Say if the hacker wants to plan a burglary at home, at your home, so he could probably find the best time for it when you're away from home. Or say you want to avoid a stalker. Now, if the stalker is a hacker, he could probably know at which place you are at this point of time. So smart cities, which are considered as the future of IoT devices. So uh, now smart cities employ various sensor networks for collecting large amount of metropolitan living data, which includes your traffic news to also on social activities. So there's a huge investment and maintenance here. But one of the major concern of a smart city citizen is the privacy. So any smart city citizen would be insecure if he's under the constant surveillance of the camera. So these are one of the major privacy concerns that are halting that are halting the development of smart cities. Now, to address this challenge, the best way is to make the citizen aware of what kind of data the sensors are going to collect, why they are collecting this data, how are they going to utilize this data, how long are they going to do this, and also you have to make sure that the citizen has an option of opting out of this data collection stream if he doesn't want to put his data out there. So here are some of the measures that particularly which is focused on building a smart city. Uh, so the first one is the public awareness. Public awareness plays a very crucial role. It acts as one of the fundamental steps in building any smart device or the smart city. And the next one is the government measures. So we lack investment in proper leadership personnel, the cybersecurity personnel or the leadership. So it's the government plays a crucial role in investing in some of the cybersecurity technologies and personnel. So they could also adopt a security by design approach, so that we consider security as and when we design the product or any other system. uh, they could also engage in white hat hacking, where we look for security engineers to proactively hack the smart networks or the smart system to know about the various risks and the vulnerabilities. So data contracts say when any business organization is trying to store or process the personal information of a user, it's better that the companies, you know, sign a contract or say or have a word with the user as to what kind of data they are trying to capture, or why are they trying to do it, and how long they are going to utilize this data. So here are some of the data privacy laws in various countries. So Europe has GDPR, that's a General Data Protection Regulation, which was implemented recently in 2018, which plays a very key role to other countries in mending their data privacy laws. So Brazil has LGPD, USA CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. Japan, Protection of Personal Information, that's PPI. Thailand has PDPA, Personal Data Protection Act. I would like to focus on GDPR here. So, yes, GDPR stands for General Data Protection Regulation. Now, it is a regulation that requires the businesses to protect the personal data and privacy of the European citizens for, say, the transactions that occur within the European member states. So, what type of data does GDPR protect? Is some of your basic information, such as your name, or your address, or your ID. The web data, which involves your location, biometric data, your medical transcripts, and it also includes your political opinion and many more. So, what kind of companies come under GDPR? What kind of companies are affected by GDPR? The European companies which stores or which processes sensitive information of a European citizen will abide by the GDPR rules and regulations. And also the companies which are out of the European member states but which requires to store and process a European citizen's data have to also abide by GDPR. Now there are six basic principles that come under GDPR. We have lawfulness, fairness, transparency, purpose limitation. So whichever business complies to GDPR, they have to use the data that's collected by them for a particular purpose. So data minimization. So when the organization collects the user data, the purpose what it mentions, it has to use the data only for that particular purpose. Accuracy, storage limitation, and integrity and confidentiality. The organizations that officially collect the user data is not supposed to share this information to other third-party commercial companies. So here are some of the guidelines as to how IoT device manufacturers or designers can protect data and privacy. So the very first one is going to be invest in a common operating system built with security in mind. So it is very basic for a device manufacturer where make the right choice of the operating system beforehand, so that all your future products will comply to that particular operating environment. So if you have, there is an advantage of having a single operating system to various products, so that the patching of the operating system or releasing any updates wouldn't be a bigger task. Unnecessary services should be disabled. Now here unnecessary services, say for example your telnet, SSH and FTP services. Now these would not be required by an unsavvy tech user. So but still, if these advanced options are required, maybe you could add it in an advanced options tab. So use an up-to-date version of an operating system kernel and also services such as telnet, SSH, web server. The next point is very crucial. Do not keep any hidden backdoors. There are some manufacturers who have secret backdoor entry to their devices for remote tech support. Now it's just a matter of time for attackers to get to know about this secret and abuse the system. Enforce strong passwords. Do not store passwords in reversible format. Well, this is very crucial. You could probably have a password management system in place for this. Create a vulnerability disclosure and handling program. It's better to have a bug bounty program so that you attract a couple of security researchers to do this and also get to know about the risk or the vulnerabilities that is involved in your product or the organization. So try to limit the personal data that is stored on the device. So the more data you store on the device themselves, the more you're responsible for this data, and the more data gets lost when there's an attack. So invest in a user-friendly update procedures. So have an very seamless and an automatic way of updating your operating system on the devices. Give an option to the user to download the update and have one-click automation, one-click update of the operating system or the firmware. So these are some of the security guidelines that we as a user of smart devices can abide by. So the first and the foremost thing which is very important is changing the device username and the password once you put the smart devices into use the very first time. So that you will be preventing from various brute force attacks that is happening around there. Control over your data. So it is very important to be aware of your manufacturer's terms of privacy and regulations, the data retention policies that they have. So it's always better to buy from a manufacturer who is more focused on the data security aspects. So avoid a hostile environment. Now place smart devices in secure spaces. For example, you can place your smart device into inside a bolted area rather than just keeping it outside if possible. So regularly install updates. So always use the most recent firmware that's available in the market. Be aware of the vulnerabilities out there. See whether your firmware has patches to all these vulnerabilities. At the end, you could always look for experts to guide you uh, through various attacks that are happening or the various vulnerabilities that is there and how you could overcome it. So these are some of the references. That's it from my side.
Yeah, on wireless networks. You
Yes.
just, it was one of the
Yeah.
pointers.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know that should we have wireless IoT devices or we should not have?
You could have wireless IoT devices, but please be sure that you're connecting to a very familiar network. Do not connect it to unfamiliar ones, and also have a WPA, protection, password protection for the Wi-Fi or your whatever the hotspot that you're using.
Generally, when we used to go outside, like European countries,
Right.
is GDPR applicable to us also?
Well, it depends. Are you going from an organization?
No, personal tour or
No.
organization, whatever may be, because we are not European.
Right. But in that case, you're not storing any personal information about a European citizen, right?
Nee, see, we used to swipe cards here and there.
Right.
We use that thing, na? And
Right.
maybe some internet also we are using there.
Right.
So that anyhow data is flowing, na?
Right.
So we are covering under that GDPR or not?
Yes, you're covered under GDPR.
Thank you.